And here is the second photo that I want to show you. Okay, the settings are ISO 100, f16, and the exposure time is 1 second. So first of all, you can see that there's some distortions on the bridge, and also the horizon is not straight enough. So what I'm gonna do is to make the horizon straight, and then go to the bottom here, transformation. I want to make the bridge to be less distorted. Okay, and maybe the vertical, yes, and then rotate it a little bit like this. Yeah, like this, you can see that the bridge becomes straighter. My eyes are actually looking at here. You see there's so many grid lines, vertical and horizontal lines, right? So I'm trying to make the bridge to be parallel to one of the vertical lines. Yeah, like this. And then at the same time, I'm also adjusting the horizontal transformation. Okay, and there we go. However, there are white corners here that you need to crop the photo to hide them. Okay, here. Alrighty then. Okay, now we can start the editing. Yeah, like this. Let me just raise the contrast and drop the exposure, because I see that there's some overexposed area in the sky. So I'm gonna drop the exposure, and at the same time, let me drop the highlights and raise the shadows. Drop the highlights like this and raise the shadows. And again, when I do the whites and the blacks, I'm pressing and holding the Option key on my keyboard and keep raising the white slider towards the right until I see something appears. Okay, and then I'll do the same to the black slider, pressing and holding the Option key and bring the black slider towards the left until I start to see something appears on the screen, right here. And I'll go back and forth to adjust my highlights and my shadows. And also the exposure and the contrast. Okay, let me also raise the color temperature of my overall photo. And now I'm gonna raise the vibrance and also the saturation by a little bit. By just doing these few steps, you can see that the before and after looks very different. Yeah. And now I'm gonna add a sky mask. So go to the circle here, which is the masking. Select sky. And now only the sky portion is being highlighted. That means you can just edit this part of the photo instead of the entire picture. I want to raise the temperature of the sky. By the way, I'm hungry. I haven't had lunch yet. So don't be surprised if you hear my stomach growling. Raise the saturation and also the sky. Let's add this time some more orange color here. And I'm gonna add a linear gradient at the bottom. So I'm gonna drag the linear gradient up to the horizon. And I don't want the murky water, the sandy and the yellowish color of the sand to affect my color temperature. I'm gonna counterbalance by dropping the temperature slider towards the blue side, like this, and drop the highlights, raise the shadows, and increase the whites, like this. Maybe also raise the contrast. And as for the saturation, I'm gonna increase by a tiny little bit. And let's see if we can add a color. I like the water to appear like this. I don't know, what color should I pick? I don't like it to be too warm, and so probably I'll go for the blue side, like this. Okay. There we go. And then I'm gonna press return twice to go back to the global editing. I'm gonna raise the clarity and also dehaze the photo a little bit. There. And for the individual color, definitely I'm gonna raise the saturation and luminance of the red, which is the bridge. And for the blue color, I'm gonna raise the luminance and also the saturation. And let's see, let's do the same to the purple color. And also the orange. There we go. Okay, let's now do the color grading. Okay, I want my midtones to be in the warm side. And let me pick a warm color, the orange here. Okay, I'm gonna bring up the highlights. And also the shadows, I want it to be a little cooler. Let me pick up blue here and drop the shadows. That's too much. Okay. So I'm pointing the indicator back to the middle of the circle. And as for the highlights, I want it to be warm. Yeah, like this. Okay, but here the bridge looks a little bit slightly overexposed to me. So what I will do is to go back to the luminance of red and drop it by a tiny little bit, like this. Yeah, that's the before, and this is the after. And finally, I want to sharpen the photo by a little bit more and also reduce the noise. Before and after. So I hope you like it.